Make no mistake, an empty Senate chamber is no way to respond to the public's needs. And all too often, this is what happened because the minority now has simply been abusing Senate rules. They can do it, but it's an abuse of the process. Back in June, 59 senators wanted to restore aid for these workers, gone without income for weeks. Our colleagues on the other side of the aisle objected and delayed the vote, then left town for a week-long break. And by the way, I keep on reminding those who are hearing me that this is under the disguise of a filibuster, a legal process that is permitted by the Senate rules to be engaged in when there is a disagreement about a piece of legislation or a process that has to take place. We left more than 1 million Americans in limbo for several agonizing weeks. Our opponents said they were simply filibustering the bill. In other words, they wanted to talk more about the subjects, but they didn't want to talk about the subjects. They didn't want the public to hear the truth about their views. But they didn't even want to talk on the floor. They just left the Senate empty and silent. And that's why I reintroduced my Mr. Smith bill. I brought this up initially last March. It's almost a year now since I brought Mr. Smith back to this chamber. And these days, senators simply object to the proceeding, walk away, and leave an empty chamber behind. Now, how are we supposed to create jobs in an empty chamber? How are we supposed to increase educational opportunities in an empty chamber? How are we supposed to help keep people in their homes in an empty chamber? The Mr. Smith Act will bring deliberation back to the world's purportedly greatest deliberative body. It will make lawmaking more transparent and senators more accountable.